Sometimes I do a little bit longer intros, sometimes I do shorter intros. For this game, I'm just going to keep this intro just as long as the overtime period was in this game. So basically, yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Woohoo! We are in a week. Yeah. Can't get any better.
Hello, welcome to Hawks Recap. Game 67 is done with, and the Hawks win in overtime against the Colorado Avalanche by a score of 2-1. For this game, the Hawks came back home following a 3-game West Coast California road trip in which they came back surprisingly in one of the games and then played atrociously in the other two. This game was not like any of those games for the Hawks. On the flip side, you have a Colorado Avalanche team who have been playing very well since trading Duchesne away to the Ottawa Senators earlier this year. They find themselves just outside a wild card spot, so they're right in the thick of the playoff fight, trying to get every single point they can. It's a far cry from where they were like last year. It's just historically bad season. Just one of those seasons you just laugh at and throw away. You think of how historically bad the Coyotes started this year. They're going to finish with a lot more points than the Avalanche did last year. That's just how bad the Avs were. But as Hawks fans, we need to realize that the Avalanche team we see this year, the team that's fighting for a playoff spot, is the Avs team we're going to have to expect for the foreseeable future. They're not going to be a bottom feeder team like they were the last couple years. It is the Central Division, though, so who really knows? But they have a lot of young talent, a lot of speed. They got a lot of picks and assets from that Duchesne trade they can build up with. They have guys like Mikko Rantanen, who was just a very quality young player. They have guys like Nathan McKinnon, who is somehow only 22 years old. He's younger than Vinny Hinostroza. Just let that sink in. Speaking of Hinostroza, the Hinostroza, Schmaltz, DeBrincat line, they were flying in this first period, just like they were last game, just like they have been ever since they got put together a couple games ago. They were flying and they look good, and I think this is going to be a quality line for years to come. Holy crap. 5 minutes into the first period, the Kane, Taves, and Saad line have the puck in the offensive zone. And speaking of lines that had a really good first period, this was another one. This top line. And Coach Q, I know you don't like putting Kane and Taves on the same line, but honestly, these top two lines, Kane, Taves, Saad, Hinostroza, Schmaltz, DeBrincat, just take these lines and slot them into next year. These are the best lines we've had all year. With where Kane and Taves are in their careers, I think you just got to do this. I know it's a lot of money, a lot of cap space tied up into that top line, but I think we just got to do it. I mean, they look great. Taves throws a cross-ice pass over to Gustafsson, who had just signed a 2-year contract extension earlier today. I did a little video on that, about 3-ish minutes long. It's not very long. I'll throw a link to that in the description below if you want to check it out. Gustafsson does kind of a shot pass, trying to find Kane on the back post there, but it hits off a defender's skate and goes in past Varlamov. And Gustafsson not only gets a contract extension, he gets a goal as well. A great day for him, and the Hawks are up 1-0. That would be the only goal scored of the first period. The Avalanche actually had some really good looks, but Berube stood tall, made some great saves to keep the Hawks up 1-0. Blackhawks outshot the Avalanche 12-9 in the first period, but honestly, it really wasn't that close. The Blackhawks just absolutely dominated the period. I think the puck was in or around the Avalanche zone probably 70 to 75% of that period. It was tilted ice. It really was. The forechecking was fantastic from the Hawks, especially the top two lines. I'm actually really surprised the Hawks only had 12 shots. It seemed like a lot more. Now that I think about it, though, the Blackhawks did have a ton of missed shots, not only in the first period, but the entire game, especially coming from the defensemen. They just couldn't hit the net sometimes, so maybe that played into only getting 12 shots in that first period. Second period would be a little bit different, and you'd kind of expect that with being dominated in the first period. The Avalanche have a lot to play for, unlike the Blackhawks, in a sense. So you'd expect a pushback from them, and yeah, they pushed back. The Avalanche outshot the Hawks 18-7 in that second period. There was a couple times where the Hawks just could not get the puck out of their zone. The Avalanche were able to keep them hemmed in, and then with the long change that is the second period, Hawks had some really tired players out there for a while, and it was just a miracle that they didn't give up a tying goal for a good chunk of this second period. In addition to that, the great forechecking that was there in the first period, no longer there in the second. I don't know what happened, what changed. Maybe it was a strategy thing. Maybe because of the long change in the second period, they didn't want to be that aggressive in the offensive zone. I don't know, but the forechecking was not there. Little under 4 minutes left to play in the second period. The Avalanche on the power play. Barry with the puck. He does a good job drawing a bunch of Blackhawks defenders. Throws a pass over to McKinnon, and he just snipes it short side by Berube. This game is tied 1-1. However, shortly after that, the Blackhawks push back, and it looks like they regain the lead. Patrick Kane with the puck on the right side throws it to the back post where Brandon Saad is just waiting. The puck kind of hits him. It kind of is a scramble. He kicks it towards the net and it goes in. It's ruled a goal on the ice. Hawks up 2-1, but it goes to review. Under video review, we see Brandon Saad kicking the puck towards the net with a distinct kicking motion. And it either hits off of Saad's stick and goes in, which it would be a good goal then, or it hits off Varlamov's stick and goes in. That would be no goal because you can't deliberately kick the puck off someone else and into the net. The problem is we can't really see what the puck hits. Both the puck and Saad's stick are kind of being hidden from view by Varlamov's equipment, so we can't really tell what the puck hits. And since the call is a good goal on the ice, it makes sense that they just stay with the call on the ice. I know I'm biased, but to me, if you don't have conclusive evidence to overturn that call on the ice, you shouldn't overturn it. They do overturn it in this case, and it's a 1-1 game still. I think the biggest problem I have with the NHL in these reviews is just the lack of communication they give of why they make a decision. They leave the coaches in the dark, the players in the dark, the fans at the rink in the dark, the fans on TV in the dark. Nobody really knows why they're making this decision. The NFL does a great job of this. The NHL does not. They need to get better at this. Because in this case, the ref on the ice says, player kicked the puck into the net, it's no goal. It's like, okay, I just saw the replay, and obviously it could have hit his own stick, and therefore could have been a good goal. We can't really tell. Call on the ice was a good goal, so why did you overturn it if there's no conclusive evidence? The NHL releases a statement through Twitter or whatever channel, I just saw it on Twitter, saying it hit Varlamov's stick and then goes into the net. Okay, fine. Say that on the ice. Let us know. Like, actually explain it to us rather than us have to try and find this information. It's just insane to me. Is it insane to you? Let me know. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. So because of that, this game goes into the third tied at 1. There wasn't a whole lot of action in the third period, just I think 7 shots apiece really, but both teams had a couple A-quality chances, but both goaltenders came up big to keep this game tied at 1, and that's how it would go into overtime, both teams getting a point. Obviously, that point means much more to the Avalanche, but the Hawks still have a chance to spoil them from getting a second point in overtime, and boy, do they spoil them quickly. Jonathan Toews wins the opening draw of overtime, gets it back to Duncan Keith, who then gets the puck over to Patrick Kane on the right-hand side. He takes the puck into the offensive zone, pulls up, and dishes a nice little saucer pass over to a charging Jonathan Toews, who has beaten Nathan McKinnon on the backside, and he rips a one-time shot that gets past Varlamov. 9 seconds into overtime, the captain finishes it, and the Hawks beat the Avalanche 2-1. This was the first of 3 games in which these two teams will play against each other in the month of March here. So the Hawks have a decent opportunity. They have 2 more tries to try and prevent the Avalanche from making the playoffs. So it's something to look forward to. It's not much, but could be kind of fun. Up next for the Blackhawks, they finish off this 2-game homestand with a game against the Carolina Hurricanes, otherwise known as Blackhawks East. It'll be fun seeing some familiar faces. Should be exciting, especially since Carolina is another team fighting for a playoff spot, but over in the Eastern Conference. But definitely excited for that game. Before I go here, I want to give a shout out to Nathan Rudolph right here. He does some really good recap videos for the Colorado Avalanche. If you want to see the other side of this game, I highly recommend checking out his channel and checking out his video for this game whenever it gets posted. I will post a link to his channel down in the description below. Check it out if you're interested. And with that, I say thank you so much for watching this episode of Hawks Recap. I really hope you enjoyed it, just like you enjoyed the results of this game. Let me know your thoughts on the game and the team's performance down in the comments section below. Like, share, and subscribe. I always appreciate that. But most importantly, as always, stay safe, make good decisions, and I'll see you next time.